We create what we focus on. Where focus goes, energy flows, but most people are focusing on what they have to do, not what they can do. They're focusing on what is versus what they're here to create. What makes you a leader is you see things as they are, but then you see it better than it is, and you make it the way you see it. You come up with that vision and you make it happen. The way you've defined yourself really controls you. And so it can be to your advantage. So if your thing is I find the way, you're gonna find the way. If your thing is I always end up losing, or people hate me, or I put things off, or whatever your identity is, if it's a negative identity, that is what's controlling your life. And you can go to 5,000 seminars and read hundreds of books and do all kinds of crazy things, but unless you shift that identity, you're gonna call it sabotaging yourself, but what the brain's really doing is living what you taught it is. We live what we believe we are. So you have to be so careful what you attach the words I am to.
It's not what we get that makes us happy, it's who we become. How we live our life, who we are as a person. People can take away all the things, but who you become, no one can take away. And it isn't so much about change, about changing yourself. The change happens when you be yourself. And the problem is most of us are trying to be something we're not. Because most of us in our lives, out of our desire for respect or achievement or love or connection or something, we've been trying to be the way we think we'd have to be in order to get that love, respect, appreciation, whatever it is we've been after at some unconscious level. And we've been doing it so long that we think that this is who we are. If you want to know what's really you, where you're going to be alive is when it's really you. And you may even think you know who you are because you've been living a certain way, but I'll tell you how you'll know. You'll feel euphoric, you'll feel strong, you'll feel unlimited, you'll feel free. Three things to create a breakthrough in anything, in your personal life, in your business, anywhere. You need a strategy, but that's not the first place you should look, and it's the first place all of us look. It's instinctive, we've been trained to think that way, but the problem is the how-to is usually not that complex. Most people have strategies available, or they could get them, or you could create them, but the problem is you got a story, and your story is why it isn't working. And the story is, I've tried what? Everything. There's always a story. And what I tell people is, if you can just divorce the story of your limitation and marry the truth of your unlimited capacity, then the whole game changes. But it's hard to do that because when you're in your story, you don't even realize it. So you need a third piece for breakthrough, and that's really what my life's about, which is changing people's states. Because in a different state, we're different people. Can mean people be nice? Yes or no? Of course they are, when they're in a nice state. Can nice people be mean? Sure, they get a mean state. So really learning to train yourself to be in an ideal state where the best of you comes out for yourself, for your family, for your mission, for your world, for your coworkers. To me, that's one of the most important decisions in life to make.
There's always more. And if you find that more, the rewards are beyond your wildest imagination. But I'll tell you the good news. People go, oh my God, I went from poor to good. I can't make another jump like that. You don't have to. All the rewards are just 2 millimeters above in a place called outstanding, ladies and gentlemen. When you're outstanding, you're just 2 millimeters above everybody else, but it's where all the rewards are. The love, the joy, the happiness, the financial freedom, what Jerry Maguire called the Quan, it's all there. It's like life is testing you. You say you're giving your all, it's like God saying, let's see if you mean it. And you fight and push you back, and it pushes you back, and pushes you back. But if you keep going no matter what, and you won't settle, and you keep pushing, you will break through. And when you get to be outstanding, you get everything you dreamed of. And here's what's so crazy. Tiny bit better than everyone else on earth. And if you can do that, the rewards are totally insane. And if you give up, the pain is incredibly insane because you have to settle for a life far less than you deserve.
The chokehold on the growth of your business is always you. It's always your psychology and your skills. And I found it's 80% psychology and 20% skills. I'm a strategist. I know the right strategy can save you a decade of time. So I'm totally into that. But I also know I can teach you all the best strategies. But if you've got limiting beliefs, if you're overwhelmed, if you're stressed out, if you're saying, I don't know what to do, you're not gonna execute it. Anyone can become a pilot and fly a plane when the weather's good. But you have to have a special certification, it's called IFR, to read when there's bad weather or fog. You can't see anything, so you gotta be able to read those gauges. Most entrepreneurs don't know how to read their gauges. They know how to do it well when the sun's out, which is why in 10 years, 96% of them are gone, 4% make it. And make it doesn't mean that they make any money, it just means they're still standing. So learning how to manage the financial intelligence of your business, learning marketing, learning how to recruit, learning how to train is a skill side, but you need the psychology and the skills together to execute. The chokehold on the growth of your business is limiting beliefs that you don't investigate, that you just accept. It's not true.
It's something somebody said to you to say, you got to pay the consequence for this. The consequence is for you to change it. That's the consequence you should go for. So what I look to do with people is have them uncover what's really stopping them. And it's two things. It's the state you're in, the mental, emotional state. When you're pissed off, frustrated, sad, depressed, overwhelmed, you can't fight your way out of a paper bag, right? Because in that state, you're not resourceful. If you are feeling playful or creative or passionate or driven or hungry or grateful, you get a whole different set of insights and thoughts. So it's learning to prime yourself, train yourself, snap yourself out of it physically that makes the difference. But then it's also finding what's holding you there. And what's holding you there is usually a blueprint, a set of beliefs, a set of rules. And when you see the truth, it instantly changes the game for you. When you witness it, when you experience it, what's real.
How do you create your life? You get hungry for something, don't you? Who has done something in your life that once seemed difficult or impossible, and now it's part of your life? Who's got something in your life in this area? Say I. You may take it for granted now, hopefully not, but it was once just a vision. It may have seemed impossible at one time. So how did you do it? You started with a concrete vision of what you wanted, and you focused on it continuously, didn't you? Wherever focus goes, energy flows. You envisioned something, you got clear about it, and then you started thinking about all the reasons why you wanted it. Said, this is what's next for me now. I want this. You may have dreamed about it, thought about it, talked about it. But when you focus on something continuously, something magical happens. You get insights, don't you? You overhear a conversation and you hear something you wouldn't have heard if you didn't have that outcome or goal that you wanted so badly. Who's ever come up with something, obsessed about it, didn't even know how to do it, and it just happened and it came together? Who's had that experience? Say I. So why don't we tap into that power now for your business and life? The phrase I use most often, that I hope you've heard me say and you take it in once again, maybe deeper, is success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure. Success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure. But if we don't physically make a decision how we're going to live, then we'll show up like everybody else, because the human mind is not going to make you happy. This brain of yours won't do it. You have to direct it. And there's no worse fate than to achieve everything and not be fulfilled. How many have had the days where you achieved this huge goal and your brain always wanted it and you got it, and then your brain went, is this all there is? Who's been there? The worst experience. It's worse than failing, isn't it? Because most of you are achievers, so failure never stops you. You just look at it as a little bump on the road. I'll try something, what? But when you succeed and you fail, when you succeed and you're not fulfilled,